What did I just watch on a Wednesday night? 8 p.m. I sit down. I'm going to watch Dynamite. I'm going to come on here and give a review of the show. Like I did for Monday night, WWE. Like I did for WrestleMania. But as soon as that all-in segment hit, I said, fuck this review. This show is dead. It's terrible. There's no story built throughout this show. And especially after seeing that all-in footage, the show just stalled out. The all-in footage had no audio. Had no audio whatsoever. And when they cut back to the crowd, it was dead silent. Tony Schiavone, he had his head in his hand like he just saw Vince Russo sabotage WCW in 2000. Showing that footage was the most pointless ratings grab I have ever seen by a wrestling company. That I ever seen in AEW. AEW is a company that has a major announcement every 3 weeks. And that is the most ratings grab thing I have seen. This didn't add any story to AEW's upcoming pay-per-view, which I was looking forward to. AEW Dynasty has good matches. The month of March had the best AEW Dynamites I've seen in years. Yet it all goes down the toilet just to try to pull in 800,000 viewers that they can't pull in after signing Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita. Konosuke Takeshita. Kazuchika Okada. This all-in footage that was shown of CM Punk choking Jack Perry and nothing beyond that is not going to get any significant buy race increase. It's not going to do any extra numbers. The shit sucked. This show felt like it was just focused around this all-in footage. It felt like all the hype came from an announcement at 1 o'clock in the morning after WrestleMania. The announcement already felt like it was just trying to steal WrestleMania's thunder. AEW can't just let WWE have a weekend of success. You're not going to take away the biggest weekend of success from WWE. I don't know what Tony Khan thinks he's going to do with announcing this all-in footage being shown on Dynamite on Wednesday. Guess what? You're barely going to break 800,000 viewers from trying to do the most controversial thing in wrestling history. And this was all because CM Punk is entitled to his opinion. All because Tony Khan got butthurt. This didn't show anything. This didn't set up the future of the company for success. This didn't set up any major storylines. The storyline should have been CM Punk and FTR versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. 6 people that really don't like each other. Yet it didn't. It didn't want to do the storyline. They were too scared. Tony Khan's too soft to say, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to get $1 million. This is how we're going to get 1 million views. This is how we're going to get another $1 million gate. No. Instead, they did 2 separate brands that didn't work, lasted about 3 months, and then they fired their biggest draw. Because of this. Because of a little chokehold. Tony Khan said his life was in danger on national television after this happened. Can someone point out where in this video CM Punk throws a punch at Tony Khan, lunges at Tony Khan? He just yelled words at Tony Khan, what I'm assuming. You don't even see Tony Khan in the video. It was not a fight with multiple people involved, like you would have thought. It wasn't a fight with blood involved, like you would have thought. It was just Jack Perry getting bitched by CM Punk. You can't bring Jack Perry back after this. I goddamn hope they don't bring back Jack Perry. After you showed a real life fight, a quote unquote real life fight, a real life squabble, and he just gets choked up and people break it up. He didn't even hold his own. AEW just made CM Punk the #1 trending wrestler in America for at least the next 3 days. Until SmackDown. And he didn't even have to say a word. He hasn't said a word since Monday. He hasn't said a word on WWE television about AEW. He went on a podcast that asked him questions and he answered them. And this is what AEW does. The dumbest thing I've ever seen in wrestling history. Did this do anything to help AEW? To help Dynasty? A pay-per-view that I was interested in? Not at all. The crazy thing is what angers me even more is Tony Khan stated yesterday in an interview that the aim for airing the backstage footage from All In between Punk and Perry was to drive interest for Dynamite and their Dynasty pay-per-view. Was this achieved? No! Not even the AEW marks can say yes to that. The Bucks saying FTR did this on purpose so they could pray before their match was the story. The television story. This doesn't sell tickets. This doesn't sell pay-per-view buys. Then they send FTR out there to give a speech about why this even occurred. And it was the most dead promo I ever saw a fired up Dax Harwood give in the history of me watching FTR. This whole Dynamite, you can't even say the All-In segment shadowed over it, because this whole Dynamite was absolute garbage. You can't shadow over something that's already garbage. This was the spotlight of the show, and in a bad way. I didn't even finish watching the show, because after that Hardwood promo, you see Chris Jericho come out and the crowd's about dead as shit. I don't want to watch Chris Jericho look retarded with Hook saying bet, saying trust. I don't care. The crowd was silent. It had 3,000 people. Tony Khan's over here trying to outdraw a company that did 200,000 people in 4 shows over the weekend. And the main selling point of this segment is someone who's in that company. Why is this happening? This doesn't make sense. This was pointless. And it did nothing to defend those soft bitches in AEW. It just furthered Punk's point. Nothing Punk said on that Ariel Helwani interview was proved incorrect. It was proved a lie. Did this showing of All In footage show Jack Perry getting his ass whooped? Yes. Did it prove anything? No. All AEW did was elevate CM Punk. They didn't elevate their brand, their credibility. Their ratings aren't going to go up next week. No one's going to tune in. This isn't a storyline that furthers and brings in ratings next week, the week after that. Instead of spending 10 minutes on this, you could have spent 10 minutes doing a better way to put over your 3 biggest stars that you just signed for probably over $10 million. But instead, you're putting over CM Punk in something that there was no blood, not many people involved. No one besides Perry got even touched. AEW was so confident to promote this, you would have thought there's no way that this doesn't show something to prove AEW's point, to justify firing their biggest draw. You would have thought we would have saw that if they're confident enough to show this footage. But no, it's just the fight I seen at Dollar Tree yesterday. Tony Khan, you said this was to promote something. This didn't further anything. And I'm just going to keep going on and on. I'm going to make this short and sweet. You sold the storyline. Collision was interesting. You fired him. Now it's pre-taped and is being shown at 11:30. You sold the biggest draw, the biggest storyline, and now you just put your whole company in danger. You just made your whole company a joke. This shit was pointless and should have never happened.